Welcome to Peer 102. Hi, my name is Ron McIntyre, and with me today is Rob Peters. In this video, we want to introduce you to ways you can use Peer to build or expand your business. Today, there is a significant issue with credibility, trust, and positive leadership in every area of business. These issues range from failure to complete commitments to generating spin when interacting with clients or customers. So let's look and begin by looking at some basics.
The relationships we have with those around us, be they clients, prospects, or associates, have a major impact on every aspect of our business lives. Those with the ability to establish strong, meaningful relationships will experience greater success, while those unable to do so will have difficulty. Now, anyone can tell you how important strong relationships are in business. However, it's not always easy to figure out how to build those relationships. We are convinced that one major way you have for developing these relationships is to have clear communications, concise expectations, and disciplined execution, all of which are addressed in the use of the Peer platform. We want to help you break down the relationship building process even further with some practical, tangible ways to improve relationships with prospects and current clients alike. Sometimes we forget that our relationships with internal employees is just as important as those with prospects and clients, and we believe that Peer can assist in employee engagement. After going through all the time and effort required to building a relationship with a prospect, why do we so often turn around and waste it after the initial sale because we did not get feedback or we ignored it? Feedback is critical to follow up.
But how do we make building relationships work in our current environment? Well, let's look at that space. Back in the 90s, the U.S. Army came up with the acronym VUCA to describe the world situation at the time. VUCA simply stands for an environment that is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. While this was very descriptive of the world situation at the time, the term and conditions have really become more visible in many business ecosystems around the world today. It generally describes an environment that changes rapidly and frequently reflects disruption to systems, people, and markets. With this disruption, it also lacks predictability in terms of depth and areas of impact. It also encompasses a variety of processes that may conflict and confuse. Most importantly, it lacks clarity in being able to define and narrow the scope and possible solutions to issues. This could be due to the fact that there may be many possible solutions and there are external influences which can cloud the decision-making process. If we are perfectly honest about our own situation, we are most likely working in a VUCA environment, but just didn't have a term that fit our perception. Now we do. One of my favorite authors, Thomas Friedman, author of The World is Flat, stated, "We are in a new world using old tools." So, what can we do as a leader? Start learning to use 21st century tools. The Peer platform is one of those 21st century tools.
In a 24/7 world of communications, social media, and transparency, we live in a stakeholder society. These stakeholders have high expectations for business and government. Yet in Edelman's 2012 Trust Barometer, they found a real deficit in the trust people have in these segments, including businesses. How can we meet those high expectations using a tool to make sure we complete our commitments? Peer is that tool.
We have been looking at the Gallup numbers for the last 16 years, yet we seem to continue to fail in making our engagements a reality. Virtually every article about employee engagement which we've read recently includes the same or similar stats. 79% of today's business leaders cite culture, and engagement as one of their top concerns. Yet only 13% of the global workforce is engaged. And while this should still be alarming for any business leader, these stats alone don't tell the whole story. Engagement is often looked at as a standalone problem. It's assumed that by solving employee engagement in your company, you will suddenly have a more productive, higher performing workforce. But real employee engagement is woven into many other aspects of the organization, including leadership, culture, communication, and development. When you begin to change one of these, it creates a ripple effect that affects many others. Employee engagement is not a singular problem, it's a symptom. The real issues that are causing disengagement are likely buried deeper than you can readily see. Not meeting expectations on all levels can be one of those buried issues.
Everyone complains they don't have enough time. Every one of us has the same 1,440 minutes in a day. No one has more, yet many use them more wisely, and that is the secret to being productive. Our Peer platform can be part of your time management tool chest. It can help you understand the underlying superpower of keeping your commitments.
We believe that the addition of the Peer platform and the underlying processes that are involved can help your business become more secure and have a strong growth plan. Keeping your own as well as those of your employees' commitments will be a stepping stone to a bright future. It will take discipline, effort, and transparency to make it work, but it is well worth it to your bottom line.
The dashboard is engineered to be clean and intuitive. The leaderboard is also a picture of simplicity while providing you valuable data, depending on your role in the commitment. Each commitment starts with a request from someone needing your services, the requester, possibly a solopreneur or a leader of employees in a company situation. The request is routed to a defined maker who is responsible for delivery of the commitment. The currency of the commitment is based on the requester's detailed description or work order. Reporting after the commitment results in data that allows the maker to capture a completion score and positive constructive feedback from the requester, which is vital for recording successes. Ultimately, the Credibility Reliability Index, or CRI, provides a score that ultimately reflects the maker's reputation for meeting their business commitments, similar to the infamous FICO or credit score that so many financial decisions are based on. Our goal is to grow this algorithm so that it will incorporate a number of these vital key performance indicators, or KPIs.
The core of the system is a Peer platform is based on generating these easy-to-read cards, which give you the highlights of each commitment. The detail level provides more insights into the text of the commitment description and an audit of every time the card is touched electronically. This is also one requester, but you can allow others to be observers with no input on the current situation. You can also assign multiple makers with each expecting individualized feedback and scoring. However, no one maker receives their score until the commitment is fully met on or before the due date. The integrity of the system is in the hands of the requester, since they can adjust the due date or expectations after discussions with the makers. Now let's look at some specific reasons we believe you should look at the Peer platform.
Leaders sometimes make promises that do not really help and leave stakeholders uncertain on many of those issues that they do. Can I trust you? Peer allows you and your people to make thoughtful, intentional commitments that can be recorded and tracked. While we believe in the adage that the power is in the details, it is not the intention of our software to track every commitment that comes out of the mouth of a leader or employee, but rather it is our suggestion to start with ones of higher value and visibility.
Often, we do not really stop and think about what we are committing to. Tracking helps you make promises you can keep and remember them over time. It can also help you sharpen your prioritization skills because you don't really want to track every commitment, only those that are critical to enhancing your relationship results. The platform allows enough space for the requester to really provide detailed specifications and/or expectations so that there should be no surprises.
Always ask for commitment from others. Leaders often fail to articulate the commitments they are asking others to make, which slows down follow-through on company commitments. Make requests, not assignments. Be crystal clear on the expectations and agreements. Encourage trust and connection. This is one of the best habits one can develop in the business world.
Leaders tend to focus on what they own, yet the biggest barrier to keeping promises as a company is often the lack of coordination between groups or silos. By tracking commitments, you can bridge the gaps and silos within the organization, whether it's small or large. When you have great communications, you avoid issues that lead to misaligned bridges or roads, expensive mistakes at the minimum, relationship destruction at the worst. Peer can help you be clear, concise, and transparent.
Leaders wear out employees' goodwill if they rely on heroic efforts rather than investing in processes that make it easy to deliver. Peer can help individuals, teams, and companies stay focused. The theory behind the opportunity design is part of the peer design. Evaluate the need, define options, discover alternatives, rethink the solution, cast a vision, select the best option, develop the solution, and finally, deliver it. All this requires focus.
Often, leaders start new roles focused on making their mark, yet they can easily undermine trust if they don't inquire about prior commitments made by their predecessor or other leaders. If there is a repository of completed commitments to refer to, the new leader can capture great insight and knowledge without having to bother people or dig through the emotions that may have been attached to an issue.
Contradictions create distrust, yet a company can easily end up speaking out of both sides of its mouth if related departments don't talk. Cross-cultural discussions and commitments can really go afoul if not monitored. Peer can help. Don't let confusion reign.
Peer can help with reputation management of the company or personal careers. It can provide evidence of completed commitments when well documented. This data can be used to recognize people on a regular basis as recorded in Peer in real time. It can provide all the necessary data required. It is relatively simple. If people know there is a high probability that you and your company will keep the commitments you make, the more likely they are to buy from you initially and continue to buy from you when you continue to support the same level of commitment. With Peer, you can demonstrate that with physical data, not just verbalized rhetoric.
Tracking of personal and company commitments with Peer allows you research on how people are performing and helps you recognize great performances. The key is making sure you have asked not only for detailed commitments, but also for positive, honest feedback. Both are important.
When employees feel they are trusted to perform their job functions, they have freedom and confidence to engage, creativity, and participate in solving problems, which in turn creates a feeling of value, maximizing their contribution. Generally, a scoring system helps people visually see how well or bad they may be doing, but the key is in the actions they take as a result. The CRI provides that type of visual cue to everyone. More importantly, as leaders, you must ensure you keep any promises you make to them because broken promises will remove any feelings of trust that employees may have built up over time. Consistency is critical to sustain trust. The Credibility Reliability Index, or the CRI, is an algorithm that provides a way for people to measure and compare performance.
With Peer, you can easily set very clear goals between leadership and employees, companies and clients. It can help move you from the discussion to execution more quickly. As these are stored, you can view them as collateral that can be used to support marketing and customer service in the future.
In reality, we can see the improved completion of commitments results in delivered product or services with reduced redos. This will improve both profit and customer satisfaction, which will lead to repeat business. When used with your follow-up process with customers or clients, you will see reduced erosion of trust and loyalty when using Peer.
In reality, missed or error-based commitments are valuable. It is used for the benefit of all. Failure can provide a way for people or companies to evaluate and determine how to correct approaches and deliverables. As John Maxwell wrote in one of his more recent books, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. When we can learn from our failures, we gain immeasurable experience and growth potential.
The higher the CRI, the more valuable each individual commitment will be in the marketplace. Leaders could quickly recognize success if they use Peer full-time in their business. It goes back to what we highlighted earlier. If people know there is a high probability that you and your company will keep the commitments you make, the more likely they are to buy from you initially and continue to buy from you. When you continue to support that same level of commitment, revenues, profits, and loyalty will grow. With Peer, you can demonstrate that with physical data, not just words.
By utilizing the Peer leaderboards, you will find it will be a consistent review of personal performance. This will help build respect between various groups, teams, clients, or vendors. Each commitment will require initial discussions and setting of expectations. That can be done face-to-face to ensure clarity, conciseness, and agreement. It can also encourage future face-to-face discussions when renegotiating the commitment if necessary.
We all know that feedback is a great tool for relationships when done well. Each Peer commitment provides the requester the ability, and in our minds, the obligation to provide consistent positive feedback to the maker. This can lead to better products, services, and relationships. It will help build transparency internally and externally within your company. Most quality systems like ISO and others require that certain tasks are completed on a regular basis. Peer could provide the confirmation of many of those tasks. It could be possible to generate a series of leaderboards, for example, that could be used to document that certification or that task within the certification. Positive, constructive feedback is the foundation of any certification program, and Peer allows you to get that recorded.
Well, thanks for joining us today. Our desire is for you to see Peer as a tool that can be adopted voluntarily by employees and leaders alike. The data is valuable if you spend the time, effort, and transparency to make it usable. We look forward to seeing you soon.